let's stop this. It's going to hurt both economies, and go down there and negotiate in good faith.
He called you a strong man yesterday when he was leaving the White House.
Well, I appreciate that. When you have your largest customer, you listen to your largest customer in business. We're going to go down there tomorrow, and I want to make sure everyone understands the expectations is to go down there, build that relationship, talk about the USMCA. We aren't walking away with the USMCA, but for years being in business, it's all about building the relationship, understanding what they require, what our needs are, and move forward. And let's get this moving forward as quickly as we can.
It was a whirlwind day yesterday for sure. Hopefully you got a little bit of sleep.
4 hours.
At this point, at the end of the day, you were back on American networks. There were some quotes from the inner circle of Trump, more or less declaring this a win yesterday. So what are your thoughts? Is this a win for Trump, or how do you back from that?
You know, if they want to call it a win, whatever. They're playing politics. But here and there, what happened yesterday very clearly, Secretary Lutnick called me. I didn't call him. Put an olive branch out, and only a foolish person would decline or hang up on someone and say, I'm not listening. We said, well, that's fine. We need a meeting, and we need it right away. He agreed. He said, fly down tonight, fly down tomorrow, the next day. We're bringing Minister LeBlanc with us, and the ambassador, to have that conversation, to sit down and see what their requirements are, what their needs are. I always say, when you have your largest customer, you listen to your largest customer in business. And we'll sit there and listen and make sure that we bring that information back and sit around the table. It's the federal government that's leading this, not myself. They're going to lead the negotiations. We'll have a very loud voice in that conversation, along with all the other premiers.
So you're managing expectations at this point. At what point do you potentially bring it back to more surcharges and the other tools in your toolbox, as you say?
Well, we're seeing what's going to happen. I know Dominic LeBlanc is out right now talking about the $29-30 billion of retaliatory tariffs. Our message down there tomorrow is, let's stop this. It's going to hurt both economies. It's American people that are going to get hurt. Canadians are going to get hurt. Let's sit down and start moving forward on what you want to see in the USMCA and what we want to see in the USMCA.
Does the actions in Ottawa today hamper what you're going into tomorrow?
I don't think so. A little bit of uncertainty. I'd encourage all parties. Let's bring certainty to the table. Let's let the people of Canada decide who they want to lead this country for the next 4 years. And we're going to work with anyone. I don't care if it's NDP, Liberal, Conservative. I work with anyone, as long as they have the best interests of Ontario.
Premier, you've had some pretty tough talk over the last number of weeks, specifically directed at the president. Do you think that resulted in this meeting in Washington, and do you plan to tone down the rhetoric in light of it?
Well, first of all, you can agree or disagree with the president. You can like him or dislike him. He's the president. And it doesn't matter if he was a Democrat or Republican. He's the president. You got to respect the office of the president, respect the president, and go down there and negotiate in good faith. And we have some smart people going down there, and they have smart people. But that's all part of negotiations.
He called you a strong man yesterday when he was leaving the White House.
Well, I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate it. But we have to go and negotiate properly and sit down at the table. And I'm grateful for those comments.
What do you expect will come of this Premier's meeting today?
Well, we'll have a good discussion on where we're going, conversation. I'll talk to premiers every single day right across the country. It's really a Team Canada approach, and that's the way we have to approach it. And all different political stripes, but we're one team, and it's Team Canada. I'll get advice off the premiers, as I always do. I'm always very, very clear every time I speak to you folks or anyone. I don't represent all the provinces. I don't represent the federal government. I represent Ontario.
Does that play into what you're bringing to the table in Washington tomorrow?
I believe so. We'd be the third largest trading partner in the world if we're a standalone country, and they recognize that we're the number one trading partner to 17 states, number two to 11 others. So that pulls a lot of weight. And our biggest allies right now, anywhere, are the American people, and they're getting frustrated. And when you start seeing inflation and potential job losses and shutdown of assembly plants. One thing about Americans, they have zero tolerance for that. It doesn't matter what party they vote for. So.
And this advertising campaign in the U.S., right?
Yeah, we're going to put that on hold right now in good faith. So let's just put that on hold and show them good faith. And then we'll see how it goes. But those are all the tools that we can use at any given time.
Tell us about how the meeting went with Mark Carney.
Yeah, it went very well. Actually, he's quite a good gentleman, and we just discussed what we're going to be facing with the USMCA deal. And I always tell everyone, get rid of this carbon tax, which he's agreeing to, which is good. So we won't be paying 20 cents a liter on gas. That's going to give you a little, stimulate the economy and make us more competitive. And just said we got to focus on jobs because the foundation of everything is our economy. Well, just a little while ago, I had an opportunity to speak to Secretary Lutnick. And Secretary Lutnick has sent out an olive branch to us to come down and immediately meet with him, meet with the whole trade administration, and discuss the future. Rather than waiting till April the 2nd, threats going back and forth, tit for tat. I've agreed to suspend temporarily, and we always have that tool in our toolkit, until we sit down over the next day or two. I'll be heading down to Washington along with Dominic LeBlanc, and we'll have a good discussion. With any negotiation that we have, there's a point that both parties are heated, and the temperature needs to come down. And I thought this was the right decision. They understand how serious we are about the electricity and the tariffs, and rather than going back and forth and having threats to each other, we have both agreed, let cooler heads prevail. We need to sit down and move this forward.